The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
Good evening, one and all, and welcome to this very unique, to say the least, presentation here on the Multiverse of Media across the Jeff Meacham Network. And this was, a full disclosure, as was stated, an idea by the man in the upper right here, but we knew that we could have a intelligent and educated discourse between the two parties here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Before I introduce them by name, let me say this for the record. Everybody in the chat room is more than welcome to submit their thoughts, their suggestions for a question relating to one Mr. Phil Brooks being back in the employee of World Wrestling Entertainment. But you're going to have to super chat because I'm already prepared for questions. So, as we always state during our watch-alongs, as we state during our during everything we do, super chat, simple as that. Let me introduce first of all the man who again generated this idea in my already warped brain because he knows I'm a psychopath and knows I'll do shit like this. Mr. Renegade himself, JJ Williams. Good evening, sir. How you be today?
Good evening. I be okay. Let me also add to your simple statement at the beginning.
Yes.
No spoilers for those of you that have already seen SmackDown.
Yes.
Some of us that are on the West Coast still haven't gotten it yet.
Yes.
And also Rampage is airing right now. No spoilers on Rampage, please.
Agreed.
Please keep the conversation towards Phil Brooks.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated on that reminder.
But I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, this, like you said, this pretty much popped into my head as early as last Saturday when everything went down because James here, good buddy of ours, one of the core four of Open Mic Night, seemed to be a little bit peeved about it for lack of a better term. And to his credit, he didn't want to come on to Open Mic Night because he didn't want to be a Debbie Downer. He could tell that a lot of people were happy about it. He didn't want to bring down the mood of the room. He read the room. He was like, I'm just going to stay out because I don't want to rub people the wrong way with the way he's feeling. And it's like, well, if you're feeling that strongly about it, bro, we need to give you an opportunity to get your thoughts out in an environment where you don't feel like you're going to be chastised for your opinion. We're all friends here. So I'm going to listen to what he's got to say. I know he's going to listen to what I have to say. And it should be a cordial but interesting discussion, I think. Can't hear you, Jeff.
Jeff, you're muted.
I forgot I muted myself. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
I said after the I've had, cordiality would be wonderful. Yes. Introducing in the upper left, the man who graciously accepted the challenge to argue his side, Mr. James Hebert. James, we know you are currently still on your hiatus from all things sports entertainment, as Noah would say it.
Yes.
But how are you otherwise, my friend?
Well, so I'm again, I talked about it with Jeff. I might be coming back for the pay-per-views of AEW at least. We did have a discussion on that just because I do enjoy doing the call. JJ and Noah. The last one we did, I had a lot of fun. It
was fun, man. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna keep doing that. I might not know what goes on week to week, but you guys know I pick things up pretty quick. So I think there's no problems there. Anyway, besides that, I will admit as well on Twitter, if you have kept up with my feed or something, I definitely stuck my foot in my mouth thinking that Mr. Brooks was not going to go to WWE. And oh boy, at least that made me a meme, I guess.
No, you know what though? You're not the only one because Aaron now has to learn to relearn to play the saxophone, which is beautiful because he can he can accompany us on karaoke nights for a while, which is going to be fun.
Hey.
And Mr. Cherry also put his foot in his mouth, and he got called out on it Wednesday by yours truly. So it's been a glorious week for some of us.
I saw that was one of the first people I saw was Greg's tweet.
He's like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Yes.
Ahead,
In the
JJ.
category of didn't age well. Yes, Mr. Williams, your hand is up.
And Eric Bischoff is going to have his head shaved again.
That's right.
As a result of it.
Twice now.
Ryback's going to have to retire.
Well, yeah, but Skip Sheffield's full of shit and he's a liar. So
Skip chef shit, you know?
Yeah.
And let me just say, I know me and you had briefly mentioned this, James, but I'm going to let the chat room know. I don't have the comments tab up on my screen.
Yeah, neither.
Because I didn't want anything that they're saying to ruffle my feathers.
Yes.
We discussed making sure that this was a friendly Discord as opposed to an argumentative debate.
I've had enough of those in my lifetime.
So for the chat room, neither one of us can see what you're commenting. We can only see what Jeff brings up on the screen.
Yes. And again, neither JJ nor James is in the producer portion of the studio.
Nope.
I am at the button. So
he be on the
control. And as we do on this channel, we are going to acknowledge the super chat, even though it's not really a question for this debate. It is about the person we are discussing. So your subscriber, JD, our good buddy Daniel, said, whatever people think about CM Punk, that causes a lot of issues in the back. CM Punk has one last chance in wrestling. WWE is CM Punk's last chance, period. And then he went on to say, to me, CM Punk needs to really mend those fences to be given a second chance. So thank you for the contribution to the conversation, Daniel. We will definitely get into that, I'm sure, throughout the course of this. And yes, Josh, by the way, Josh Mansfield is in the chat room. Thank you, Josh, for agreeing to be the backup in case Mr. Hebert was not available tonight. So.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that, by the way.
You're good.
Again.
You're good.
Stuff in life, man. Life happens.
No. I mean, we asked Josh when the idea was generated.
That's fair.
So we wanted to back up because we know how strongly you feel about this, and we know that we want to make sure that you had the opportunity to say no. So
we knew that we wanted you to be our number one draft pick.
You were,
but in case that you didn't want to do it, we already had our ducks in a row, so to speak.
I'm surprised. I thought Josh was all happy. No,
he's been anti-Punk for a while, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes. All right. So, since this was JJ's idea, I will throw the opening salvo. The same question to both of you, but I will start with JJ. And James, I am going to put you on mute and myself on mute once I finish writing the question. That way, there's plenty of time for JJ to give it. I'm not going to treat this like an actual political debate where you get like 30 seconds because I think that's stupid when they do it. And I want people to be able to say what they want to say, to be honest with you.
I agree. So, it's like character limits on X.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So, and
now I can't hear you.
Because I muted the wrong guy. And yes, I get to stay neutral. Yay me. So anyway, because I do feel very much two different ways about it. So JJ, your pitch to me was basically on for lack of a better term, the pro side. So why do you, JJ Williams, the renegade of wrestling, feel that CM Punk returning to WWE is indeed best for business, sir?
When it comes right down to it, CM Punk is a needle mover. All you got to do is look at his initial debut in AEW. You look at the fact that they drew their first $1 million house on his back. You look at the fact that he generated so much buzz for the company. And the biggest thing is that you look at how much he wants to give back to the business. He took what was taught to him by guys like Raven, like Tracy Smothers, and he wants to be that for the next generation. For whatever reason, some of the people in the AEW locker room Didn't like that, didn't appreciate that, didn't want that. WWE locker room, despite the issues that he may or may not have with certain people, has always been a little bit more welcoming of stuff like that. Especially when you figure the fact that they have their own developmental territory with NXT. You think about what he could do going down there on a every now and then basis and imparting his wisdom to the up and coming talent. You know, I was watching Strictly Business before things came on today, the newest one where they're talking about Punk's return. And they made a point about how there's 9 or 10 people on the roster that could be inserted into the main event spot at any given time. And they probably don't want a guy like Punk coming around telling them what to do. It's like, okay, that's a fair assessment. How many of those 9 or 10 people have gone one-on-one with The Undertaker at WrestleMania? I'm just saying. CM Punk speaks from experience when it goes to going up against some of these people. How many of those people have gone one-on-one with The Rock at the Royal Rumble? You know, how many of those people have gone toe-to-toe with a guy like Raven? Might want to open up your ears and shut your traps and listen to what he's got to say. And I think that is why he is best for business. He's already the number 1 selling shirt on WWE Shop in under a week. And he's still the top seller on AEW at the same time. That's how he's best for business.
Well, first of all, I want to point out that apparently CM Punk is now the ravishing recruit of merchandise within wrestling. So there you go. There is that. Now, I also would like to. I had a point when you were going there, and it was gonna be really funny, and then I lost it. So that's okay. We'll go ahead and go to the super chats real quick. Josh is confirming he is indeed anti-Punk, but still marked the F. I'm not gonna lie. I think we all did, whether we were, happy or not. There was definitely a oh god moment, no doubt about it. And Big G reminding us all that he was in Chicago and Punk debuted in AEW. So he was there on site when that needle moved. So, of course, he was also there when Jeff Jarrett was there, and he clearly marked out. And we love Big G for it. Now, I love you, Jeff. You know I'm fucking with you. Anyway, James, to your point, is your point of contention that CM Punk returning to WWE is not best for business, or if it's not that point, what is your argument against his return to WWE?
So my arguments are very much long-term thinking, not necessarily in the short term. So I want to make that very clear that everything that I am saying is mainly a prediction, not a spoiler. Paul Heyman. I don't know why I did the Dr. Evil thing, but fuck it. But
I mean, Paul Heyman is Dr. Evil, to be fair.
Yeah, true. But no. So I want to just preface this right away by saying I hope that everything that I say on the negative side is proven wrong by Punk or by the company or whoever is going to be in charge of all this, whether it's a collaborative effort. All right. I just want to get that out the way right now. So that way people understand I want to be proven wrong in a positive way on this. My thing with this is Punk has hindered his own drawing power for the long term, going back to the company he was shitting on so closely as to Revolution 2022. Like, this isn't that long ago when you really think about it. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen that press scrum, but he was literally calling them out on legitimate criticisms about how they pay their talent with the royalties on the DVD sales. And now he's just going to go back to that company. And they're still doing half the stuff that he criticizes them for. The only difference is Saudi Arabia is a little less, of a hindrance and a problem. And, Vince McMahon's no longer in power. That's the only difference, but they still have creative issues for the most part. They're not perfect. We had to basically kick and scream for LA Knight to get a push. And these are the things that Punk fought for, once upon a time. And he was fighting for that as early as in AEW, literally against the people he was going up against politically in the Elite, specifically the Young Bucks, as we know now. So, he's now just coming back, and is this t-shirt going to sell on both freaking shops at this point? Absolutely, they're going to. No one's denying that. But it's very much it's a short-term thing unless you can build on that momentum, which is true in any form of entertainment, especially on a peak like that. The issue that I have is what you're going to see on TV as far as the feuds that he's going to have in the long term. You look at what's already lined up for him. 5 feuds right off the top of my head that is probably going to happen within this next calendar year. We know Seth Rollins is a given, Kevin Owens, and possibly Sami Zayn, because they're friends with who? The Elite, specifically the Bucks, especially Owens. AJ Styles, very similar story there. Finn Balor. And then you have Roman Reigns. I mean, when he gets to Roman Reigns, forget about it. He's going to cut a shoot promo on him, like 10 Ways to Sunday about it. You are going to hear about that incident from September. Some way, shape, or form or another, you're going to hear that. You're going to hear that. And I think, and it is proven because it showed on AEW, as much as Punk was a needle mover, that situation turned a lot of people off, and they have barely been able to escape the 1 million mark and get up there, at least on a live concurrent basis. It's especially going that way now that he's no longer there at all. So, it's been going down that downturn. The only up they've had is literally All In this year. And that's because he was on the card and they had sold out anyway just because of the historical nature of it. So, you look at that and then you go into what he's about to go into, and it's very much the same reason I have an issue with the Bucks. Like, I'm no two ways about it. I think the Bucks have hindered their drawing power, whatever the fuck was left of it, very similar to how Punk did. I think that is going to follow him for the beginning portions of that time. And as we have seen, we know that if somebody pushes him, Punk has a short fuse. And Punk may go off at a press scrum. And the issue with that is, if you are the WWE or TKO in this case, and you're employing the services of Phil Brooks, you have to put a muzzle on him. You have to. Guess what, folks? We've already seen it in the first promo back. I watched the first promo just for this debate. I have never, ever in my life seen Phil Brooks give such a political statement in my life. I swear to God, it was the most disingenuous I've ever seen him. Ever have seen him. Ever. Talking about how he's home and this and that and putting over the company and calling AJ Mendez by AJ Lee. Like, this is not the Punk I remember. This isn't the Punk that most people are going to remember. Whether it's a positive or not in people's eyes, they're going to look at that and say, oh man, they're already ruined this already. They're already screwing the pooch. If you're on the side of you want to see him get into work shoot programs and they already have that muzzle on him, you're screwed, and his drawing power is going to diminish gradually over time. If you go in that freaking direction of you go full on shoot and you mention the freaking bullshit from September over and over and over and over again, you're going to lose viewers. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. He is screwed here. And so is the company, and they don't even realize it. This is how I feel. And again, take it with a grain of salt. It's very early to tell. I could be totally wrong about this in 6 months from now, and I hope the fuck I am. Unfortunately, I have a pretty sixth sense about this shit, and I hate that. I don't know why. It's really dumb. I don't like it, and it makes me sad. But I have it. So I'm just saying, be forewarned. That is my argument on the con side.
All right. Well, there you go. Opening arguments. So you love to hear it. JJ, I'm gonna flip the script on you both. Why is there anything currently as we sit here? And remember, he's been back a grand total of 5 days, folks. Throw that out there. 6 days if you count Actual Survivor Series Day. Anything in your mind right now? Anything you've seen from him on Monday during the promo? Anything you've heard over social media? And again, social media is what it is. But anything you've heard that makes your argument in your mind go, might be wrong here. This might be bad.
No, not at all. The first promo back is exactly what I expected from him. It's what I expected WWE to have him do. It's going to be a play nice, a tread the water. Triple H is smart when it comes to that. If they're going to let him off the leash, so to speak, to shoot, they're going to save it for the pay-per-views, the PLEs. They're not going to do it on Raw while they're trying to shop around and get Raw a TV deal. Raw still hasn't landed on a network for next season. So they're not going to have him go out there, Billy the Kid, Wyatt Earp, guns blazing, taking out all people standing in front of him, and they're trying to shop for a TV deal. It's not going to happen. There is nothing that I see right now that tells me that this is not going to work. Seth Rollins' reaction, work shoot. Drew McIntyre's reaction, unrelated personally, in my opinion. Some people can try to flip it. Oh, he didn't want to be out there when Punk came out because he doesn't like him, blah, blah, blah. Or he could just be selling the fact that he only wanted to be in War Games to get his hands on Jay. The match was over. He got out of there. His purpose was done. Like a good mercenary, a gun for hire. Because that's pretty much all he was in that match. He was a mercenary for the Judgment Day. Everything that has happened since he has been back, I think, is going perfectly to plan. The name drop of AJ Lee was much like the name drop of Colt Cabana in the initial Vegas pipe bomb. Just a little something to generate some buzz. Now everybody's talking about, oh shit, Punk's back. Maybe AJ's going to be in the Women's Rumble this year. Just because he name dropped her on live TV. There's already fake posters for the Rumble with her on them. Like, seriously, that's how newsworthy what he said was. That people have jumped on that. Now they're hoping and praying. And I don't know the severity of her neck issues. Some people are saying, oh, it's life-threatening. She'll never wrestle again. Didn't they say that about Saraya? Didn't they say that about Bryan Danielson? Just saying. Just saying. So for her to be in a match where you don't have to take a whole shit ton of back bumps and you get eliminated by going over the top rope, she can do that for one match to pop a crowd. I don't see anything wrong. That's the bottom line because Renegade said so.
I like what you did there with the Stone Cold reference and Punk. That was good. First of all, if he is going to be the one to shoot first, then they got a whole thing where they have to George Lucas it, edit the shot so it looks like he didn't shoot first, and it's a Han Solo thing, and it's a pain in the ass. Ask George Lucas. It's a royal pain in the ass to try to do that kind of editing. It's a mucker further. It's probably why sold the company's like, I'm tired of dealing with these edits and bullshit. Let freaking Disney take care of this crap. Anyway, made us billions of dollars, so whatever works. Anyway, James, to that point, is there anything you've seen in the last 6 days that tells you that your point is not invalid, but that your fears are unwarranted?
Well, before I even get to that point, yes, number one. But number two, as far as the effects that they got to do for the shooting, I mean they got to just do the lightsaber method. Just deflect every bullet with the lightsaber. That's how you get around that. As far as my fears, here is why I think people should be concerned. This is why. He sees nothing wrong at all, but he pointed out that he's playing nice. CM Punk? When have you ever heard CM Punk playing nice? Even when he debuted for the company the first time, he wasn't really playing nice. I mean, I was just saying he slapped Shannon Moore right out of the gate. So he buried his ass. So when has Punk ever played nice? You know what I mean? I could see him playing fair. I mean, we saw it in AEW, but my problem comes down. It's like, when he showed up in AEW, he literally said he left professional wrestling in 2021. He's back, and he didn't even mention his WWE history at all, when most people probably would have. I mean, he mentioned it in press scrums, but that's beside the point. And granted, he won't be using the freaking, he won't be using press scrums as therapy sessions. And even if he shoots and goes off the cuff, I mean, regardless if he goes against the script or not, I mean, I doubt Triple H is going to fire him over it. I mean, I don't think we have to really worry about that because Triple H isn't exactly one to carny. We've kind of seen that. But, you're in a situation where it's so delicate and you don't really have a way out either way. I think if he plays nice for too long, people are going to get sick of it. It's like, we want the old Punk back, but in order to get the old Punk back, you have to kind of reference history, whether it's flattering or not, and then you have to, go back and forth with treading past waters, and then it's just going to make people groan, I feel. I don't think it's even going to make people be like, oh, it will for the live audience, because the live audience will bite on anything because they're there live. I mean, that's just how it is. But on TV, I feel like most people, especially old heads, man, they're going to be like, which is mostly Raw's demographic, they're going to be like, again, they're bringing this shit up from September. If they know anything about it, and then most people that don't know anything about this situation, if they don't tune in to AEW, to be like, what the fuck is what is he talking about? Why? Make it make sense. I want to know what you're saying. And then they're going to look it up, and then they're going to be sad, or they're just not going to look it up, and then they're just going to be frustrated that it brings it up. And it's like, what the hell are they talking about from September? What the hell are they talking about with this and that? What is this Fox Sports show where he shot on Seth Rollins? Blah, blah, blah. And to me, it's like, and again, it showed when he came back. Other than that original spike, when he returned for Collision, excuse me. I don't know. Like I looked at that and I'm just like, Jesus, you know what I mean? And now here he is. He's talking nice and he's just not doing anything. And here he is now, you know, he was shooting and then it was going down. And now I feel like if any Punk fan is a Punk fan, they're going to see he's not shooting and then you're going to lose those people out eventually. That's what I'm worried about because I mean, that's where we're at. Like the perception right now, I'm gonna paraphrase what Undertaker said here. Perception is reality, and the reality is it's fucked. The whole thing's screwed up. Like I don't know if it will go good either way you go here. Like Punk plays nice for too long, it will go bad. If Punk does what Punk does, it will go bad. And then, granted, yeah, he mentioned AJ Lee, and they got it got a big pop, and people want her back now, and that's great. Long and short, he said something about Britt Baker as well when he showed back up on AEW when he first came back. So that's not exactly a big thing that happens. I mean, yeah, could AJ Lee come back? That's great and all, but that tells me that they're more interested in AJ Lee returning than they are a Punk, to be fair. And that's because she doesn't try to involve herself in a lot of BS. Even when she's married to the guy, she didn't involve herself when that whole debacle was going down. So, things happened. She ended up leaving because of a bad neck. All that nonsense. I hope she gets well. If she does come back, stay safe, and yes, please. But I'm just very worried about how the perception either way, whether he plays nice or Punk be Punk, it's gonna go haywire. And I think we're kind of already seeing that. Josh, I did see the comment up there. I'm only bringing it up because he talked about humble pie right there. People are like humble pie. People are happy about that. I don't think it's one of those things where, those people saying that are tuning in for CM Punk to necessarily get his ass kicked. I think they're seeing him as like an X-Pac almost. And no offense, Jeff, by the way, because I know you're friends with the guy. But, he's getting that kind of heat where I don't think people want to tune in to see him get his ass kicked. This isn't a JBL situation where he was the champ and people wanted to see him lose it. And so when he finally did, everybody was like, yay, and he wasn't exactly the greatest champion either, but at least he didn't. Well, I mean, he did some crazy crap, but at least he made it in story, during his title run and time on top, however brief it was. I look at Punk's situation now. It's like his first 5 feuds right there, tailor-made, is gonna bring up that incident in September, and prior to that, all the drama he had in WWE. I mean, it kind of happened in AEW, but it wasn't as bad because it didn't feel gross. But I feel like now they're gonna point back to this as you're toxic this, you're toxic that, and then he's gonna try to not to be, and then people are gonna be all messed up. I don't know. That's my argument. That's my last bit. Unless you ask me a question, then I can elaborate. But yeah.
Yes, sir.
James, one of the things that we talked about ad nauseum over open mic night, over the year plus that we've been chronicling the brawl out situation, was the fact that something like this would not have been tolerated in WWE. And if something like the Hangman Adam Page promo happened, WWE would turn it into money. So why are we then so worried about Punk versus Balor, leader of the Bullet Club, ran with the Bucks. Punk versus AJ, leader of the Bullet Club, ran with the Bucks. Punk versus Owens and Zayn, worked for PWG Gorilla. Bucks were 2 of the PWG 6. When WWE knows how to make money off of real life drama, 1. And 2, before we even get to any of those 4 feuds, we've got Punk versus Rollins based off of the promo from this year at the video game thing or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then you've got an easily written program with Punk versus Miz, since he called MJF, a bargain version of the Miz. Since Punk had that hatred inside of him, supposedly, or at least back then it was hatred. They've since buried the hatchet.
Yeah.
But going into that WrestleMania where it was Miz versus Cena with The Rock as the referee, and Punk believing that should have been his spot because he was the biggest heel in the company at the time, which he was.
He was.
So you've got a tailor-made feud right there that's 12 years old also. And with Miz having had a recent babyface turn, boom. You do Punk versus Miz at the Rumble probably if you're not going to save it for Mania. And if you are going to save it for Mania, then you can give us Punk Miz at the Rumble. People are talking about Punk versus Austin.
Yeah.
Dream match like we saw Owens versus Austin a couple of years ago. So I don't really see the problem that you see when it comes to Owens, Zayn, Balor, and AJ, especially with people rumoring that once his contract is over, AJ may become All Elite.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought he would stay there. To be
well,
fair.
Those that know Alan Jones are saying that once his contract is over, he's done with wrestling. But then there's people that are saying that AJ Styles may become All Elite once his deal ends. So there's the same kind of flip-flop back and forth as we see in AEW matches as far as the spots go. But there's so much on the docket for a guy like Punk. And who's to say his first feud coming in isn't going to be a Darby Allin-esque feud where he finds an Austin Theory or a Grayson Waller or somebody like that he can really help get over.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up good points. My worry is that people are so apathetic that they won't care or give a crap either way. I hope I'm wrong. I hope what you're saying is true.
I in my heart of hearts believe it is true because I feel that the promo that we saw on Monday was Phil Brooks. It wasn't CM Punk. From pretty much everybody that I know that has had a personal encounter with Punk, especially since he walked out of WWE, Phil Brooks is a down-to-earth, humble dude. If you watch his bio, everybody that has grown up with Phil says that he's a down-to-earth, humble dude. CM Punk, the character in the ring, is a jackass, arrogant prick. But Phil Brooks is a down-to-earth, humble dude. And I think the promo we saw and the entrance we saw at Survivor Series, we saw Phil Brooks, not CM Punk. And I think that's something that people aren't thinking about when they criticize how stupid and lame and hokey his promo was and how they killed the character with his first 5 minutes. We weren't getting CM Punk. We were getting Phil Brooks.
My issues with that arise to counter your point. how many of those Phil Brooks-esque promos, if that is indeed him, do you go until people are sick of that, and then you try to go the full Punk arrogant prick mode, face or heel or otherwise? That's what I'm worried about. And I genuinely want, and again, you're probably right. There's a lot more, there's a lot more tight locks in WWE. However, those tight locks are a bit too tight. And I'm worried about if it's so tight with him that, he's not allowed to be what got him over in the first place. And again, back to my initial point, I think if you try to have him be like that, you're risking that being brought up. Apparently, there's NDAs. I have no idea if there's an NDA signed. I don't think any of us have seen a legitimate NDA. So, just because go ahead.
To be fair, none of us have also seen his contract. Right. We don't know if he has creative freedom written into it. He may not have the level of creative control that Hulk Hogan had in WCW, right, but it could very well be the type of thing where he's got creative freedom as far as his promos go. They come to him with these bullet points. We need you to hit these targets. Say it however you want. And as long as he hits those targets, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been when Rock was at his best. Punk was at his best. Triple H was at his best when they gave him those bullet points.
Right.
Talk about this person, this show, and this part of this aspect of the story. You've got 5 minutes.
Right. And to be fair, I think he had the same freedom in AEW. He probably will have that type of freedom in WWE. My issue, just to counteract that point real quick, I think there's an argument to be made that you could draw money with CM Punk outside of WWE,
mm-hmm,
and he's much more valuable in WWE or outside of WWE than he is in WWE. I think that's fair to say. And I only say that because, MJF got a huge boost in popularity because of him working with him. He was supposed to put him over and then everything went to crap over there, but he was supposed to, he just working with him elevated him to the point he won the world title.
mm-hmm.
Right.
And to me, stuff like that is where Punk is supremely valuable because he made MJF, Darby, all these guys, and they went on to do bigger things, main event pay-per-views, be headline acts. Every person that he worked with had a big marquee match some way or another, with the exception of maybe a select few. And even then, they're a special attraction anyway that Punk just got eyeballs on.
Right.
Penta El Zero Miedo, for example.
Ricky Starks,
exactly. And Ricky Starks, I mean, he put over huge, even though they didn't get to have their blow off, and Danielson kind of carried him to the finish line. So I think Punk, when he doesn't have that drama surrounding him, and there will be a time where it isn't going to be a concern, whether that's in a month or 5 months or a year, we'll see, but there will be a time. Do you have that same impact with him in WWE, putting over a guy like an Austin Theory, a guy like, sorry if I'm blanking, JD McDonough, a guy like Ilya Dragunov, a guy like Finn Balor, a guy like Damian Priest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A guy like LA Knight. I mean, matches are great just on paper right there. Him putting some people over or making stars out of them, even in defeat, much like Cena did during his U.S. title run. If he could do that, will it have the same effect as it would have had in AEW? That's my question. You know what I mean?
Your reply kind of ties into the last question I wanted to ask, so I'll go ahead and put a pin in that for the moment. Hang tight. Josh did ask a question that kind of got answered anyway, and he did insert a super chat for the question as I instructed him very not so subtly because that was directed right at Josh's ass. So the question was, can it be brought up? Because I wouldn't be surprised if there were NDAs involved in the reform. Even if someone tries to bring it up, Punk can't respond back. Again, we don't know about the NDAs, and the question was, anybody seen? I've seen an NDA and I've signed an NDA, just not about this, but I have signed an NDA before when it comes to other aspects of my life. So yeah, there's no those are pretty and clear cut of what you can and cannot do and cannot say. So if they've been signed, it won't be brought up by the company. Like WWE won't even have him bring it up because they'll know he'll be handcuffed worse than he was in AEW.
Or the person involved. Okay, yeah. I mean, or the person involved could also be super handcuffed as well.
Well, right, because if you bring up a thing you can't disclose, then you're screwing your own pooch in the process. So it's kind of like, it's silly to do that at that point because then you've got a fight you can't have.
Right. Which I totally agree with you on. I'm just wondering if Tony actually had the foresight to have that NDA in the contract when he signed CM. That's my question. I don't know.
No,
I'm wondering if he gave him a little bit too much freedom, which is why he went off the rails the way he did, and Tony couldn't say a goddamn thing about it.
Apparently, I was wrong about the question Josh wanted to ask with the super chat, but go ahead, JJ.
I just wanted to ask, and this is a legitimate question here because everyone knows I'm newer to AEW.
Yes.
As far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, the really heated Punk promos didn't begin until the Eddie Kingston promo. And then it kind of backed off again, and he tried to work the way he was supposed to with Paige until Paige started to shoot on him.
Right.
And then once Paige shot on him, it kind of became gloves off. If we're going for the nuts, we're going for the nuts, and I'm just going to twist those things into a vice.
Yes.
That's pretty much how it went down. Yeah.
So from his debut in AEW, and we'll even bypass the Eddie Kingston one. So until the thing with Heb Man, which was almost a year later, he pretty much played by the rules and did standard promos. True. I wouldn't say good guy Phil, but not the Punk that we all kind of clamored for either. Is that safe to say?
No, that's fair, because other than the opening salvo where he talked about he was never going to get well at the place that made him sick, which was a direct shot between the eyes at WWE itself. Yeah, he pretty much toed the line pretty well. Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
Okay. So then why? So then the follow up to that would be, why would we expect anything less with him now in WWE?
Agreed.
Okay,
that's fair.
You feel me?
To your concern.
Do you feel him, ma'am? Feel like Cody and Jey Uso there. But seriously, you're so concerned about people being turned off by his promos because he's not being the Punk we want. But he wasn't that guy in AEW until Adam Page came for him trying to hang him like the Hang Man do.
To be fair, I think Punk was Punk in AEW. I argue this because of a couple reasons. Punk, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, whether he is, just being happy or angry or sad or any emotion, just slap emotion to Phil here. And he's on a microphone and he's conveying that. That's Punk to me. Right there. It don't matter what it was. The Punk from 2011 when that pipe bomb was initially dropped on WWE is the same Punk that I thought we got when he showed back up on AEW on Rampage.
Right.
Same passion, same delivery, same energy, same vigor. Everything about it was the same.
Okay.
It was CM Punk of old to me.
All right.
And CM Punk of old to me also means the promos he cut in Ring of Honor on Raven, the promos he cut in WWE when he first showed up, the Straight Edge Society promos, the promos he cut on Johnny Ace, et cetera, et cetera. Like,
those are my favorite.
We're gonna have, I know, I know, Jeff. Those, I think, I don't have the same like perception that most people do about Phil when he was in AEW of this ain't the CM Punk of old, because that was bullshit. I noticed there's a very big difference in how he's acting here.
Mm-hmm.
That's I have a very weird sense of just kind of reading body language.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt to me like he was, other than when he was talking about AJ Lee and, you know, his wife, because he's always going to be passionate about his wife. Yeah. He something just seems off. Like he doesn't feel what he's saying. And I don't know if it's just because of all the shit he went through with AEW.
I was just going to ask you both that. It's like, is it just he's like, you know what, let me get through this first one because, damn it, they want to hear me say something. But he's not fully uncuffed himself yet because he doesn't want to shoot himself in the foot 2 days after he made the big
like he does right. He doesn't want to be passionate. I mean, he's already subtly hinted at Rollins because like almost everybody. I saw that promo. Like I saw the whole promo for the record, just so in preparation for this. I watched it. I was like, those are the two times I saw like, okay, Punk's passionate here and here. Yes. But like in any promo that I saw prior to this, even when he was hating everybody in there, right? Man, he was CM Punk. No matter.
I hear what you're saying. Right.
Like Punk and Brooks, to me, blended so great because he was so impassioned every time on that microphone.
Yes.
You know, when he was happy when he showed up on Rampage, he had the same passion when he cut that shoot promo on Collision against the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And, you know, that's what I'm worried about here. Because he subtly mentioned it, and it was some passion, and then he just is like, okay, let's just get through this. And it just feels like he's worried about walking on eggshells. And if anybody knows how that feels, unfortunately, it's me. Which that's my worry. It's just like, is he too afraid of his own passion? Is he too afraid of his past mistakes? Is WWE too afraid of their past shit? You know what I mean? It's just like, that's what I'm worried. That's why I'm worried. It's just I see something is just off, like he's anxious or the company's anxious about even having him back. You know what I mean? Like
that makes sense, yeah.
I don't know. It's very
No, we're good. You're good, man. So, first of all, Matt, good to see you. We're doing very well. Better than I deserve today, quite frankly, if I'm being honest. It's been a day. And to address Safet's comment, they are not the same thing. Trust me.
Yeah, no.
NDAs are legal. Hush money's not.
No.
That's just the long and short of that answer.
Yeah.
Question that Josh actually wanted addressed in his super chat was,
yes,
with Chicago-made Punk, you gotta love that, being back home, do you think the fences will be mended, pun intended, that AJ Lee will be the women's inductee for the Hall of Fame in 2024?
I mean, yeah.
Let me jump in real quick here and just say, I talked about the Hall of Fame yesterday on Talk Wrestling in my 20-minute speed round because my voice was going to hot shit, as you guys could hear now. It's even doing that now. They're already talking about Bray Wyatt being the headliner, which I know is just ducky for this guy. So let's just table Hall of Fame, other than it was super chatted. I said it was super chatted to be addressed. We'll definitely talk about Hall of Fame as we get into proper WrestleMania season. It's just now December 1st. Take it in, man. Breathe. It's cool. But yes or no for AJ Lee in the Hall of Fame 2024?
No.
James?
I think yes, but not this soon. But
Okay,
yes.
That's the question.
That's the question for this year.
Oh, for 2024? No.
Okay.
Yes,
Very
eventually, but no right now.
Okay. Cool.
Ask us again later.
Yeah, seriously. Let us get through this 31 days of absolute batshit chaos that we've got planned. And we're going to go into the chills after, by the way. So,
Yeah.
We got a ton of shit lined up.
If anybody for the women should be this year, and it's not somebody from ECW, it should be Sable.
Yep.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Especially since, if memory serves me, her only solo WrestleMania match was at 15 against Tori.
Yep.
In Philly.
Yep.
In Philly.
All right. So, since we're getting to the hour, which I'm glad we got the hour, I was kind of hoping we'd get there. Final question to both of you, and I'll start with you again, JJ. CM Punk's best for business in your mind?
Yes.
How soon? How much of a timetable did we put on that being a valid statement? Like, we're sitting here right now. It is currently December 1st. It's December 1st. How soon before we go, didn't look like it was best for business? Or how soon do we go, proof's in the pudding?
I'd say at least a year out.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I'd say at least a year out, because the short term, you can't really judge by that. Look at what happened with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to look at the long term. Yeah. And granted, in the grand scheme of the WWE, a year's really not that long. But we also don't know how long of a deal he signed either.
Mm-hmm.
We also don't know how long the behavioral probation is on his contract.
Yes.
Yeah, basically a part of the contract was there was a bit of a behavioral clause. We don't know the entire terms of it.
Right.
But I'm saying this because James has a dumbfounded look on his face. But I'm sure it's something to the effect of, if you pull the shit that you did in AEW, you're gone.
Yeah.
Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You are fucking
It's a safe
gone.
assumption. Right.
Oh, boy. No wonder that promo on Raw happened.
But.
Okay.
But. What everybody needs to remember is that when all the dust is settled, all the smoke is cleared, there were 3 people that were more in the wrong than anybody. Yes, CM Punk was to blame, but there were 3 people that were in the wrong more than anybody.
Yes.
Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Tony Khan.
Yes.
I give Omega a break because he more or less tried to work things out.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from the initial brawl out situation, you never heard his name mentioned when it came to Punk drama.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give Omega a pass. But Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Tony Khan.
Yep.
Are more in the wrong than Phil Brooks. Because Nick and Matt are EVPs. And if you're going to have talent in management, you should be able to manage and lead by example.
Yep.
And Tony Khan was sitting there at the scrum next to him. Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, Stephanie McMahon, John Laurinaitis, any of them, I know, but any of them would have looked at him when he started saying that stuff. Wrong time, wrong place.
Cut him off at
the or they would have given a signal to somebody in the back and they'd have cut his microphone.
Yep, true that.
it would not have even begun. Therein
That I can
lies
agree
the
with.
difference.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that. I remember there was a point in when Triple H and Punk were feuding, ironically enough, they actually did exactly that in the build up to their match. I didn't even think about that. Because he just mentioned their names and they got his mic off.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that.
If you remember in the promo in Vegas that JJ and I were part of, they pretty much let him go until he brought up Vince dying and Triple H said taking over. It was like, that's the end of that shit.
Yeah, which
it wasn't even that. It was when he started to go towards the Be a Star campaign.
Right.
Well, yeah. Let's not even.
Well,
he still cut the promo anyway later on, though. You know what I mean?
Well, but when you think about it, you go, I got one for you. You know that campaign we have on the signature, and all of a sudden it's just no mic, and we're going, oh,
yeah.
He crossed the line. He pushed the button. He did the thing.
Well, yes, he crossed the line, but he still crossed that line like 2 weeks after. He still cut the promo. He just did it on a different promo. Yeah. So there's that. I think. Okay. For me, I also want to just add to your point, JJ. You give Omega a pass. I also think Hangman deserves not a total pass, but I think a lot more forgiveness in that he did defend somebody that was getting harassed for being a Punk fan after she flipped him off in the front row. So there is that. I have a lot of respect for him just for him doing that. I think he's tried to mind his P's and Q's other than the shit Tony gives him to fucking recite, which is neither here nor there. But, he's doing his job, and he does it quite well if you judge by the freaking match that we saw, JJ. So there's that.
Josh, answer your question. No, he was not aware. We made that clear in the conversation about the Beaver Club.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. As far as Hangman getting a pass, for me, and then again, this is just host moderator guy. If he had, you can try to make up for anything you do in life and try to find that moment of peace, redemption, whatever you're going to call it. Once you kick that pebble down the mountain, unless you dive after that shit to try to stop it, it's always your bad. And he didn't try to dive down the mountain until it was already a freaking avalanche.
Yeah, that's true.
And a lot of casualties got caught in that avalanche.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you in private, James, when we were discussing you coming on the show, and I'll go ahead and say it in front of the audience. I had started to get to a point where I was willing to get past my Page hatred and only focus on the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went off and did what he did with Swerve. Yep.
I didn't even know he did that. Shit.
Yeah.
When he came out and started doing his thing with Swerve, which was very reminiscent of him going into business against Punk, I was like, just when I was ready to forgive you. Because he brought up the fact that, his wife left him, doesn't see his kids anymore.
What?
And I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be the babyface Page? And Swerve broke into your house. And your promo is telling me that you're the heel right now. What are you doing?
Why did he bring up his wife left?
Because that's what he does.
Man.
Yeah. So
that's weird.
It's the same type of thing that he did when he went in on Punk, about being there for workers' rights and everything. He went off script, and it made him look horrible.
Yeah.
And it was right about when I was getting ready to start forgiving him.
Yes. And yes, I'll remind the chat room, we did flat out say the rumor and speculation that the behavior clause is as such in the contract. So
Okay, so it is rumored.
We
Okay,
don't
yeah.
know for
Yeah,
sure.
like I said, nobody has seen his actual contract,
No.
but this is what the internet is saying.
Right.
I'm not going to cite the sources because I've seen it from multiple people,
Right.
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 but it's out there and it's speculation.
Yes.
Well,
JJ. But I'm sorry.
there you go. No, you go ahead, Jeff. I
Yeah,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off.
Well, if you had a point to make, I was going to let you do it because I'm gonna go into close the show phase.
Yes,
Oh,
I was going to make a. I felt like we should make a final statement.
yes.
No, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, again, the big thing I want to circle back to is for everybody that is hating on his Monday promo for not being CM Punk, not coming out guns blazing, shooting on AEW like they had hoped for.
Well, I didn't want that.
I honestly feel that it was a matter of it is Phil Brooks cutting that promo. I don't know the guy. I've never met the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly feel that deep down in his heart of hearts, Phil Brooks never thought he would step foot into a WWE arena again. And the emotion and the reception, despite the fact that it was Chicago and he's treated like a god there, but the reaction he got at Survivor Series, I think just
It's funny.
was so much for him.
Mm.
You know, it comes back to you guys know me by now. I like to tie stuff to music. It comes back to a Bon Jovi song who says you can't go home. I went as far as I could, tried to find a new face. There isn't one of these lines that I would erase. Lived a million miles of memories on that road. Every step I take, I know that I'm not alone. You take the home from the boy, but not the boy from his home. These are my streets, the only life I've ever known. Who says you can't go home? And he's home.
I hope it's true. That's all I will say with that. I think it's I think the statement of it's too early to tell and give it a year is fair. I agreed with that. I hope I'm proven wrong ultimately by that, and I don't have to turn away. For now, I think part of the problem too, for me personally, anyway, and if you know, you know, I've been going through a lot of similar shit that Punk went through, and quite frankly, that Omega went through. That it's just I kind of want to avoid it as much as I can. And now that you told me about the Hangman Page thing, that completely changed my tune on him. Anytime I see him, I guess I'll have to do the skits that I plan to do anytime he shows up.
Again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion about every other person, but as long as it's clarified as an opinion,
right?
That's the thing.
Well, to be fair, I didn't know that he even shot on Punk again during the Swerve feud. I had no idea that was a thing.
And again, do we actually know that? No, but it seemed rather blatant.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then,
so
if it seemed
again, we don't know because we're not writing Hangman Page's promos and we're not Adam Page. But thank God for that.
Yeah, true that. So yeah, and apparently, his wife left him, which is already okay, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
When you hang around Matt McNasty, you're bound to have a bad attitude anyway. Again, just my own personal opinion, though.
I agree. I have a question, and I feel like this should be brought up. And the only reason I'm bringing it up now is because Ryan is in the comments, and him and I talk sometimes.
I see.
So, and this question just occurred to me. Wasn't there something said that Tony feared for his life or something because Punk attacked him? Is that what has been reported?
The statement made when Tony fired Punk was that he had never feared for his life like he did that night.
Right. Now, was there reports that he attacked Tony and choked him?
It wasn't that he attacked Punk. It was the fact that when Punk and Perry got in their little bitch shove fight, Perry basically got shoved over the desk where Tony was sitting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So the monitor fell on him as a result. All right, yeah, that makes sense.
And again,
okay, that's what I thought it was anyway, but I just wanted to clarify because, like, he said fear for his life, and I heard rumor sites back when I was in that, and have since blocked my feed from all that toxic shit.
That's fair.
That Phil Brooks was, choked Tony, and I'm like, okay, if that was true, WWE would not hire him at all. If that was the case, he should be in jail if that happened. I mean, come on,
Right now, I got you.
All right, so yeah, I mean, who knows? That's the only question I had.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
I just want to make sure before I went into the show stage, because that's what I do around here. We don't do topics. We sell merchandise on this show. And we sell shows.
Yay!
Freaking DX up in here.
Merchandising. Where the real money from the movie's made.
That's right. So JJ, you brought up 2 points I actually was going to bring up. So I appreciate you leading me in, brother. First of all, you said a year out. December 1st happens to be a Sunday. So I, for one, move that if they're so inclined, and if not, we'll gladly pick it up, pick the ball, run with it. The No DQ review on December 1st, we see where Punk's at. And we go, did they hit the marks? How are we doing in a year? Because if not, we will be more than happy to do it on World's End, on our end of year show, which will be in the middle of the week. So we'll probably do it like the Saturday before or something. But either way, we'll get it done. The other thing is, you brought up the Bon Jovi song about going home. I had the Chris Daughtry song in my head. I'm going home to the place I belong, and where your love has always been enough for me. Not running from. Now, I think you got me all wrong. I don't regret this life. Trust me, I don't think Punk regrets a damn thing, by the way. These places and these faces are getting old, so I'm going home. Lord knows those places and faces got old for him after a year and a half, 2 years. He was done. So he went home. The other thing was the WrestleMania 29 thing. Going home. Tell the world I'm coming home. Though my kingdom awaits, and they've forgiven my mistakes. WWE appears to have forgiven his mistakes, at least for now. So again, it all ties into everything. Ties back to wrestling, folks, and it ties back to music or movies, which is why he does what he does. So it all ties together, folks. Now, let's see. If the internet was around when HBK there'd be no internet left. So HBK would have scorched the earth.
Yeah.
DX would have ruined everything. But
man, I mean, I will say, by the way, I think Josh being called a hypocrite, just for the record, I think that's a bit rough. To be fair, I don't want to watch Punk anymore, but at least for right now, but there are going to be matches that are going to entice me to be like, all right, yeah, that sounds like it could be fun. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Come on now.
Exactly.
Like I like Stone Cold and Punk. If that happens, I'm going to be tempted not to want to see that. I mean, come on. Like,
no, I agree.
It would be difficult for me not to, but it's, well, at least I know that Stone Cold and Punk are going to talk about the shit from September. Apparently, he might not talk about it at all. I hope that remains to be true. But
yes,
I mean, if it does, then I'll change my tune. How about that? Because
that's right.
I'll tell you right now, everything I said about Punk on this show, apply it to the Elite. Or specifically to the Bucks. I don't want to see them on my fucking screen, and I will not see them on my screen. You can't pay me enough to see them on my screen, even when I do commentary.
The difference is, I don't think any three of us are going to have a pro Young Bucks conversation.
No. We're all negative on those little pricks.
Actually, it was brought up today in conversation by my ex, who was a fan of them like I was at the time. They were still growing and actually young, and I went, it's a good thing you don't like wrestling anymore, because you'd be sadly disappointed in your precious Bucks. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of tunes, you said tune in. Speaking of tunes, we've got 2 really tune heavy shows coming up at the end of December. First of all, Noah's favorite day of the year, Eve of Christmas Eve, Christmas karaoke, open mic night, December 23rd. 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific. And then the show that we are all, not just we're all dreading this for reasons. End of the year, open mic night. Golly, episode 100 of open mic night. First of all, the end of year 4 going to year 5 for the Jeff Meacham Network. The 2023 highlight reel, which is complete. Whoops, God darn it, stupid buttons. Which the highlight reel is these two guys. I'm scared. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, and then we're going to count down the year coast to coast across the lower 48 because I'm not waiting for Alaska and Hawaii because they're too damn far away. And I go memes. So that'll be on December 31st. But before we get there, Jesus Christ, we got all the descent. Stop that. No, stop that. Scare me. If you have been following along with Renegade on the Castilian Studios and his weekday reviews of the shows, you're awesome. We love you. You're cool people. If not, don't be a dick. Start watching JJ's show. Please. This is what was covered just this week alone on For the Love of Wrestling. So if you're missing out, don't be that guy. Like, watch his show. It's good stuff. He takes his notes. He's passionate about wrestling again, by God, people. Get on that. That's Monday through Thursday every week. Also, congrats to the No DQ 2023 Hall of Fame. Whether you agree with the votes we're giving out or not, they are Hall of Famers. Congrats to them. Especially our buddy Lisa Marie Barron. We love it. Lisa got her flowers. That's good shit.
Congrats to all of them except for one.
Oh, would you kindly?
Hey, what's the say don't pray? What about
It's
this?
not.
It's not. There we go. There we go.
Look. Here, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet.
Okay.
It's not hatred on Bray. It's the fact that, as far as the No DQ awards go, Bray got in there before Perfect, Yoko, Dusty, and Piper, and he only died this year. Those four are more than worthy to be in the Hall of Fame over Bray.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Especially Dusty.
Especially when you figure the fact that the Bloodline is the hottest angle for 3 years running, and Yokozuna is not in there yet, and he's a member of the Bloodline. As is Rosie, as is Jamal. You know. I'm just saying there's a lot of deceased superstars that are more worthy than Bray, who died this year.
Yeah.
That's all my argument is. It's not hatred towards Bray. It's not a dislike towards Bray. But there's other people that are more deserving of that honor.
Who have passed away. That's fair.
I chose the violence today. I apologize. Let me try that again.
Continue, Jeff.
So congrats once again to the new class of the 2023 NoDQ Hall of Fame. We much appreciate everybody that was inducted this year. Go to NoDQ.com right now to vote, cast your vote for the 2023 NoDQ.com Year End Awards. Right now, you can vote for Superstar of the Year. Vote for Max. Probably perfectly biased. Don't give a shit. I tried the Excalibur. My voice is so fucked. I can't even do the Excalibur bit.
So fucking good. Oh my God. I might honestly, JJ, we may have to just put that in the highlight reel just because that was that was unbelievable.
I'll allow it.
Oh my God.
I've lost control of my own network.
That was
Good shit.
hysterical.
Okay.
That was hysterical.
Anyway,
Continue.
all right. Tomorrow, JJ.
Yes, tomorrow on Open Mic Night, we will be welcoming a longtime friend of the channel.
Yay!
Gino Rivera, Gino Told You So, Seville Alvarez, whatever you know him as. We know him as friend, amigo. He does have a match tomorrow during the course of our show. I am not sure what time he will be jumping in, whether it is before his match, after his match, nor am I sure how much time he is giving us. I told him, you know, we'd love to have him for as long as he's willing to give us. Ideally, 45 minutes to an hour. If he can give us longer, great. If he can't give us that long, we understand. But regardless, Gino Told You So, independent wrestler, modern day journeyman, if you will be on Open Mic Night. And hopefully you'll be able to be there for that, James.
Honestly, I'm down. That's cool. I like interviewing independent wrestlers, and Gino sounds like a cool dude. I think I met. By the way, fun fact, I apparently met him once. He was doing a tour of the Northeast, and he was like around Top Rope, like I want to say back in like 2015 or something like that. So
doesn't surprise me. He's been around a lot of places. Me and Jeff have talked about it. We're basically just gonna like lay out of it and let you guys on the panel that want to talk to an independent wrestler, ask him questions, super chats from the chat room. You guys are basically going to dictate the show. Me and Jeff are just going to be sitting there chilling.
Especially my voice going the way it is. Now,
what about dads, Jeff?
Huh?
So what about dads, Jeff?
Oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, I'm getting there. During the course of the week, of course, we have our usual suspects: Meech's Musing, Snapboy Sports Bar, The Greg Cherry Show, Talk Wrestling. Hopefully that'll be back at 10 o'clock, not 7 o'clock, because I need to eat dinner before I get into this Talk Wrestling nonsense.
I don't blame you.
The 2 episodes of Dads for December will be not this Monday, but next Monday, the 11th, as JJ and I rank the top 10 Christmas songs that aren't about Christmas. Uncle JJ, what does that mean?
Well, think about it. Is it a song that you hear at Christmas time? Does it talk about Christmas, Santa Claus, the birth of Christ? If not, then it's a Christmas song that's not about Christmas. Baby, it's cold outside. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Jingle Bells or Jingle Bell Rock. None of these songs have jack diddly shit to do with Christmas, but they are Christmas songs. Think about it.
And to those of you that are going to ask, no, not the Hanukkah song. It's about Hanukkah.
It's not about Christmas at all. Yeah. I mean, well.
No.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Please don't dive the rabbit hole. I can't anymore. I can't.
Yeah, no more digging. No more digging.
December 25th, Christmas Day.
This is where I thought you were going when you said tune heavy.
Oh, well,
because both these shows are about songs. So,
well, yeah, but so is the open mic nights I talked about, because there's going to be a shit ton of song clips on the open mic night end of year special. I know this.
True that.
But on Christmas Day,
yes, and it will be a canned show, Mucker Brothers. We ain't going to go live on Christmas. We ain't that family. We ain't hating our family that much.
No. Top 10 songs about Santa Claus.
And I've heard there may be a cameo from the guy himself. I mean, he'll be fresh off his trip. He'll be back at the pole getting ready for his summer vacation. Hopefully not in that Speedo, because that's just wrong and gross.
Oh, no. Santa Claus, think face, though.
Here comes Santa Claus.
God! No.
Acting like Kishi. Okay.
It doesn't help that I was watching a Deadlock review earlier about Rikishi giving Vince McMahon the stink face. I mean, anyway,
that will forever remain in all our minds and on Vince's nose. Now,
yeah.
For our final plugs for the night, JJ and I have graciously dubbed it the We Sick Gonna Die tour, and it starts next week.
Yeah.
Christ. We got five watch-alongs over 4 nights, just December alone. Tribute to the Troops next Friday. NXT Deadline, a Final Resolution the next night. Ring of Honor Final Battle, and World's End, where hopefully Max will not legitimately die at the hands of Samoa Joe. We're hoping. But, Samoa Joe. So, no promises. 2024, as far as the non-WWE shows are concerned. Wrestle Kingdom, Hard to Kill, the return of TNA Wrestling. The final night of Sting's career in Greensboro in March, and All in London, which tickets went on sale today. Apparently they're kicking all the ass, as they should. So good for them. And then WWE, because they can't ever be topped. 10 nights of watch-alongs because they truly hate us. Royal Rumble, Vengeance Day, Elimination Chamber, the Hall of Fame, NXT Stand Deliver, both nights of WrestleMania, the Raw After Mania, Backlash in France, the Bash in Berlin in Germany, and that's just what's been announced. So, we're going to die. Because we're going to call the action. Noah and JJ will call the action. James will call the action. Dattila will call the action on the Impact shows. I'll be producing it.
Dude, I'm so glad I'm only doing the AEW Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Holy shit, bro. bro.
I did the
Wow.
James. I did the math the other day just on what's announced in 2024. Figure we're booked through August 31st.
Yeah.
Just what's announced. We average a show every other week because there's like 38 weeks or something already announced, or like on the calendar, and we've got 19 weeks basically of. If you put it every other week, it would average out to one every other week. They're not done announcing shit.
Here comes wrestling. Here comes wrestling. It won't turn it off.
Yeah, all the wrestling, and the multiverse funerals.
Yeah. Holy
anyway,
shit.
I digress. And yes, they also announced this week that Battle in the Valley and what the hell's stupid Tony and his goddamn double shots, Battle of the Belts, and are also going to be on January 13th. We're not covering those because Tony's a hypocrite and fuck him. I cuss her off. So I don't give a shit anymore. I'm going to bed. All right. Yeah. So that's it for the watch along. That's it for the plugs. I hope. Golly.
Hard to Kill, Collision, Battle of the Belts, and New Japan Battle of the Valley are all January 13th.
Yeah. And Tony announced his shows like this week after saying we had to compete with WWE whatever that. You just did it twice, fuckface. So shut up. Yeah, because you did it. You tried to do it against Survivor Series. That went real well for you. You know.
Well, to be fair, that kind of happens when you decide to schedule your show on I don't know, Saturdays. Sorry.
Yeah. Again, it's in the open mic night intro that we're going to replace hopefully first of the year. You made your mistake. Congratulations. You get one. You're past one.
Yeah.
Great opening, but anyway. All right, kids. I think that's it. I think our points were made. Both very valid conversation pieces tonight. So thank you both for participating. Thank you, James, for agreeing to converse with JJ on the matter, and we all sincerely hope that whatever happens in this next year and beyond of CM Punk's turn in WWE, that all sides are happy with it and healthy about it.
Yes.
And if they're not, we'll have such shit to talk about on Mike Night. So either way, we're good. I mean,
yeah.
It is what it is. For the Heb Man, James Hebert, who will play each tomorrow night open Mike Night, which makes me happy.
Yay!
For the man, the myth, the moderator of Mike Night, the Renegade JJ Williams. I am the horse with the most, JJ Williams. I don't know who I am anymore.
What?
Yep. I'm Jeff Meacham, I think. I have no voice. I'm tired as hell. I'm going memes. Good night.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years. The recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.